Virtual Boys have been playing Nintendo since they were little. These 60 plus combined years of experience have made them experts in the field. Or at least they sure think so. Join them this week as they talk about something from the wonderful world of Nintendo. You're listening to the Virtual Boys Podcast, a Nintendo podcast about Nintendo things by Nintensity. This podcast is done by four friends that talk about anything and everything Nintendo. Check out the website at nintensity.com and be sure to follow us on social media. Be sure to subscribe and share the show with your friends. Oh, of course, enjoy the show.
Hello everyone and welcome to the Virtual Boys Podcast, a Nintendo podcast about Nintendo things. This episode is 92. I'm your host, Jordan. If he had a chance, he'd kill you for fun and dance around in your skin. He's a monster. Accompanied with James.
You can't stop this friendship hype train. Woot woot.
And Skylar.
You may call me Lord Highness.
Okay, Lord Highness. Your Lord Highness.
Anyway,
Oh gosh,
don't make me summon Majora's Mask on you.
that man's face. Oh.
David wasn't able to join us today. He was pretty busy with school, midterms, and all that. So I'm taking over for now. This week, we got another Nintendo Direct. We had a Nintendo Direct episode last episode. This is another one, kind of a surprise.
The Nindies Showcase.
Yeah, the Nindies Showcase. We'll talk about that one later in the episode, because what we had originally planned was for our Kirby review this episode, which is what we'll get into. And I think we'll stay away from spoilers. There isn't really much to spoil in Kirby, but we'll stay away from the specifics about like story at the end and stuff. We might talk about some of the post-game modes, but that's not really spoilery, I think.
I don't think so.
All right. So great. But first, before we jump in to talk about Kirby, I want to first remind you to check out our Patreon page because these episodes are going up early as a reward for those that support us. That's patreon.com/NintenCity. Of course, if you want to talk about this episode, check out our Discord community at ninten.city/Discord. So let's start with Kirby Star Allies, which was released last Friday, and it's the latest game in the Kirby franchise where the new gimmick is that you can recruit up to 3 allies to mix and match abilities to solve puzzles and save all of Dreamland. What did you guys think about it? What did you like?
So playing with other people in the game is great. Chef Kawasaki is a beast. I'm so glad you can finally play him. Since his Dreamland debut, I've always kind of wanted to play Chef Kawasaki secretly. He was in the anime too, so it's finally nice to get that chance. They also brought back the cleaner ability, which is super awesome, along with the cameos from the Kirby's Dream Land 2 game of separate characters from that. It was really cool to see those come back.
There seems to be a lot of references to past Kirby games in this game, despite not being a celebratory game. Like, this isn't the 25th anniversary or anything. It's a random Kirby, but it does have a lot of nods and fan service to past Kirby games.
Yeah, the DLC coming in a couple of weeks, or is it next week? I can't remember. They're also going to include a lot of the past sidekick characters, like Kine as well, and even let you play some other villains like Marks, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, no, I was thinking the exact same thing, Jordan. Like, it feels like it's almost like a anniversary kind of special game, you know? Even in some of like the secret areas, obviously won't go into details, but you know, it's just like, wait, what year is this for Kirby? Like, is this 25 or something? I don't. But no, like it does have a charm to it as it calls back to previous games. Being a noob to Kirby, I've only really played through 2 Kirby games, Canvas Curse and Robobot. Besides this one, I can still say that I found this game really enjoyable, and it's really relaxing. I'd say even more relaxing than Robobot. Not to say this is better than that, but it was it just goes like kind of fun, chill game to play. You don't really have to stress out about too many things, but it's not boring, at least for the most part. And like Skylar mentioned, it's a ton of fun to play with people. I got to play with someone, and although it may be frustrating when this person doesn't do what you want them to do, it's like, come on, it's not that hard. Give me the fire ability. Anyway, it helped that to have that kind of camaraderie in the game. Otherwise, having all the allies is not as fun at times, but I guess we'll go into that later. I loved the yo-yo. That I know it's an ability that we've had in the past, but having the yo-yo combining with like other elemental abilities was so awesome.
Yeah.
That stayed my favorite throughout the game.
It's been my favorite in the entire Kirby series. Every game that the yo-yo ability has been in, it's been my favorite ability.
I'm so glad they brought it back.
Yeah, it. Yeah, it's just so much fun. I just love walking the dog. Excuse me, just walking my dog.
Excuse me. Oh, you stepped on. Oh, you did. Sorry.
Oh, you did.
Just let me come through here, all right?
Should have been hard to avoid. It's on fire.
You forgot. I can't move left and right in my space. I can only move forward.
Oh, of course it is. Another thing that I really liked about this game were the power-ups that they have. Well, not all of them, or power-ups, excuse me, the friendship power-ups. Well, not all of them are amazing. Like the umbrella, I mean, I guess it's kind of cool, but not really cool. It's just there. Then there's a bridge, like friendship bridge. Wow, this is really hype. But my favorite one was the hype train or the friendship train.
I think the hype train's a better name for it.
Thank you. Okay, we'll call it hype train.
Yeah, we're all
the hype train
on it for Smash.
One. You know, you're right. Oh, this way to Smash. Kawasaki for Smash. Let's go.
Kawasaki for Smash.
But no, it's great because it's adorable. But two, like I like some of the platforming that they bring in with the hype train. And actually, it wasn't my favorite going through the main campaign, but then when I went through the second playthrough with the other characters, there's actually more levels that utilize the train, and that's what made it my favorite because there's just more stuff to do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the only thing I had against the hype train is for the rest of the characters that play with you, like people who play with you, it's pretty boring. Unless you all just want to screw each other over and hit A at the same time.
Oh, yeah, no, that's a good point.
Great for single player, but multiplayer might be a little bit difficult. But
yeah,
anyway.
At least the segments weren't that long.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, they weren't that long. But I had that experience, Skylar, where this person was pressing the jump button, trying to do it at the same time, and but it accepted both commands. So we were like missing jumps. Like, what's going on? I swear I'm pressing at the right area. Wait a minute, you
did this.
So I would when we would kind of switch off to who got to do it. But anyway, I really like the train. I also love the overworld map. I do that more. Like I kind of just like exploring, and I'm sure I wish there was a little more to do in it, but it was just really cool to look at. It was quite the spectacle in my mind.
It was a really cool map sequence. They kind of did that in Yoshi's Woolly World too.
Yeah.
Where they let you just free roam the map, which is pretty cool, and you get to interact with a few different things. So yeah, I love these kind of map designs.
Yeah, I think it kind of added to the story and the adventure, more so than in previous games, at least. Yeah, and that just shows me that a 3D platforming Kirby would work perfectly. Anyway.
Yeah.
Lastly, I'll just say the ending surprisingly was really epic. I mean, Kirby games try to be epic. Don't get me wrong. But after Robobot, I thought, there's no way they would top that. I'm not saying they did top it, but it was pretty epic. Not gonna lie.
Yeah, Kirby games like to try and throw that big surprise boss at the end. But we won't get into any details about that.
Okay. I'll shut up.
Kirby final bosses are just freaking sick.
Yeah.
World enders, essentially.
Basically.
Yeah.
They're pretty sweet. O2 and Marks being my favorites.
I really like Robobots because it was like a remix of the one from Kirby Superstar at the end of Milky Way Wishes. It was super cool.
I really like that. I always chuckle, but I love collecting friends or whatever and then immediately eating them. Not to like swallow them or anything, just like chew on them and then spit them out just so all my other friends know pecking order and all that and how the totem pole stands.
Wow.
Gotta show them the place.
It's like, I created you, I can destroy you.
If I had fingers, I'd be snapping them right now.
I think the staff ability is my favorite new ability. I really like abilities that allow a lot of momentum and movement and being able to pogo into the super I don't know what you call it, but where you poke your stick a lot ability.
Yeah. 1,000 needle strike. Actually,
Yeah,
that's
Poking.
So, yeah.
I really like the staff ability too.
So that'll go alongside Yo-Yo and Fighter and Cutter for one of my favorite abilities. I was a little, I don't know, unimpressed with Spider ability. It didn't have as much utility as I had hoped for.
Yeah. Spider was kind of a letdown because you can only kind of shoot it to the side or like hold up and bounce people, essentially. It's okay. It's not great.
Yeah, and you couldn't really make fire webs or anything.
Ooh.
That would have been cool. Or like, electric web or something like that, Like,
that would have been sick.
oh, well.
The other thing I really, really enjoyed was the time mode at the end. The main campaign, it was okay, I guess. It wasn't bad. I was enjoying myself, but it felt really bare bones. And so by adding the time mode at the end, where you are to go through the campaign again, except it's timing you and kind of puts a little more pressure to do a bit better. And on top of that, you're collecting abilities to make your character move at an acceptable pace. Because Kirby's really slow. But, I really like that. That was kind of more my speed. I wish that it was available at the beginning, honestly. But I understand why it wasn't, because you have to play through the whole game in the mode. But it's surprising to see how short the game actually is once you play it in the time mode.
Well, I think it's interesting. I think they kind of Frankensteined it a little bit, where they kind of took pieces and bits from each section. And like James was mentioning, I think they added more train segments than was in the original.
Okay.
So it's not the entire game per se, but it's more of like the pivotal moments from each world.
That'd make more sense, because I was going through the second world in the time mode and I realized, wait, I was just in a water room, went through a door into a lava room, and then went through the door into an ice room to go through the door into a water room again.
Wow.
Makes sense to me.
Yeah.
It felt just too random and hodgepodge together, but
yeah,
that would make sense if they're just, because they did that with the demo. I noticed too. The demo, none of those levels in the demo actually exist as full levels in the main game. Just like random segments from like different parts of the first world.
Yeah, exactly. Mm-hmm.
Loading screen is still in between every single door, and that's annoying, but I have no idea why they can't just load the next room into RAM while you're playing. You move at the pace of a snail. They have plenty of time to do it.
They just want you to know that you can suck things in with the B button. And then you can jump with the A button 1,000,000 times.
So I guess that'll move into our next segment of what did you guys not like about the game?
The game is very middle of the road. It's just an average Kirby game. There's nothing like super special about this one. I mean, especially after coming from Robobot, where like even the ending was just ridiculous. The whole concept was ridiculous. They even changed Wispy Wood's design in that game, which is insane. And they just kind of seem to go more of a minimalist route with this one. They reused a lot of music from other games, which I thought was interesting. It's cool for nostalgia, but it is what it is.
Yeah, I agree with the minimalist comment. It looks great and it's fun to play, but it is very simple for the most part. Like there's nothing mind blowing here, and I guess that's the whole. Well, it's supposed to be relaxing and everything. I understand that, and actually, since once I played the demo, I didn't think I was going to enjoy it as much as I did, but lo and behold, I actually came out of it. I was like, yeah, I really enjoyed that. That was a good experience. But yeah, I think that it wasn't as much as at least Robobot for me. Not to say every game has to be better or anything. I mean, that'd be great if they tried to, but it's just you always compare it to your fondest memories, I guess you could say.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I really hoped it would have been better than Robobot. Robobot was fun. It was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed it. But it is also a 3DS game compared to a full-fledged console game.
You're right.
$40 price tag versus $60 price tag. Yeah. And both campaigns are of comparable length.
Yeah.
And there's less memorable moments in this game compared to Robobot. And Robobot's not even my favorite Kirby game. This game falls far below Superstar Ultra and Kirby's Adventure from the NES. Those are my two favorite. And then even N64 and Squeak Squad are a lot better than this one. I don't know. It feels like Nintendo rushed this out because they knew that there was going to be a Nintendo drought in the early 2018 and they needed something. So that's my conspiracy theory.
I could see that. I hope updates come later where they update like the frame rate and stuff, add some more content. Just kind of make it feel more fleshed out. But yeah,
I actually really think this game could have run on the 3DS without any problems. I mean, obviously there would have been a there would have been a downgrade for the most part in graphics or whatever, however you want to call it. But I think for the most part, it would have ran just fine on the 3DS.
Yeah.
So maybe they were originally working on it for 3DS. Maybe they just pushed to the Switch. I don't know.
I think it's the same engine that ran for Robobot and Return to Dreamland.
Mm-hmm. I wouldn't be surprised.
When I was playing Robobot and Triple Deluxe before playing this game, like the week before in anticipation, I felt like those games looked smoother. They felt smoother than this one, which is kind of weird to me. But it could also...
Yeah, this game feels very poorly optimized.
Yeah. Super weird, but being on a console and everything, but...
Yeah, no, totally, I agree. Yeah.
I'll never get over the load screens between every single... Like, if you need load screens, put it at the beginning of the level. Don't put it in the middle of the level in between every single door segment. You could load the whole level. It's not that big. There's not a lot going on. You don't even have to, keep memory of what enemies are dead, because as soon as you leave the screen, they just respawn.
It's true.
It baffles my mind that how poor resource management this game is, and it's straight from in-house Nintendo.
Yeah. It is quite shocking.
My other big issue, I wish there was online. This game is focused on multiplayer. I don't think it would have been that hard to put in the ability so that your friend can play online as your friend.
That would have been lovely. That would have been great. Because I had a lot of issues with the AI in this game. I had to take over them a couple times to get them to do anything. Which is pretty terrible in and of itself. And then sometimes I would try to point my thing up to do something, and they would just fidget around a bunch until they would actually do it. Like, dude, just come on, just light this. Oh, come on, stop. Okay, fine. Water. I don't care. Just get over here, please.
If you have the cleaner ability, good luck ever getting your friends to do anything ever. Because as soon as you press up, all your friends jump into your vacuum. They will never do what they're supposed to do.
Exactly. They totally do. It's super funny. just getting them to do stuff is terrible. It's if you're doing the speedrun mode too, sometimes they don't hit the button at the top of the screen fast enough, or they keep getting hit by the giant saw blades before they touch the switch. It's like, dude, stop jumping into the saw blade. Just hit the button. Like, guys, up there dying. Like, I'm trying to get a faster time here. This is not working. So if you ever want to speedrun this game, make sure you have like a full team of 4 friends and they all know what they're doing. Because it's
sounds like a stream we need to do.
A Kirby run, like a Kirby speed run.
Yeah,
that'd be great.
Other than that, the game feels really linear also for a Kirby game. There wasn't really any branching paths at all. All the puzzles, you never had to leave and find the abilities to solve puzzles. Every puzzle was basically solved for you because the abilities were in the same room as the puzzle.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah, I did notice that. It was kind of like, are we like rewarding like, or we're not really rewarding the player for being prepared or for thinking here. We're just like, yeah, this is what here's everything you need, and we'll even like hint at how you can take care of it. Okay, now figure it out. You'll never guess it. Like, no, like, I feel like maybe that's going a little too far in the hand holding. So I see what you're saying with it being a little more linear.
Especially since like Kirby 64, there were a bunch of puzzles where I don't think the abilities were even in the level. You had to come to the level with that ability.
That did happen a lot in that game specifically.
So that would have been nice to have a few more of those. But the game just handed everything you ever needed on a silver platter. So you could just move straight. Kirby's goal was just move forward.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yep.
This game came out with a demo. We were all kind of lukewarm with the demo in the episode that we talked about it. Was the demo a good representation of what this game really was?
Well, I think the game is better than it is, than the demo. I think the frame rate's a little bit better than what I had originally saw, but I still kind of wish it was in 60 FPS. But I'm still fine with the current frame rate. It doesn't dampen it too much. So I don't know.
Yeah, it didn't bother me too much, the frame rate or anything like that. I'm trying to. What about the demo was off-putting? I don't. Maybe it was because I didn't play with a friend. Maybe that's what it was. I'm not entirely positive.
If I remember correctly, our issues were mostly graphical issues, loading screens, which we've already touched on, and controls were janky.
Yeah, I don't know. Like those problems just didn't really seem to be too much of an issue. Besides maybe the controls, which I guess we'll go in a little sec. Yeah. But anyway, I honestly think the demo. I don't know what they could have done with the demo to make it better, but it just wasn't quite what it needed to be.
I was just glad that we did have control options in the end game, which was a huge concern of mine. Because when I want to jump, I want my thumb sort of to just like rest and like toggle between attack and jump. Having it where the jump button was on A instead of B just felt really awkward because there's a lot more motion. I don't know. Maybe I'm just really lazy. I'm making myself sound like it's too much work to move my thumb.
Yeah. Once I found out that you could just get rid of the power using the minus button, that was great.
Yeah. That was great too. Yeah.
I hated waiting for the power to disperse. That was like drop the ability. I was like, no, duh. That's why I'm hitting the button. But the minus button was really nice. Even though it's a little bit like George was saying, you have to move up a little bit more off of the stick to get rid of your power. So it's kind of hard to run and drop it. But I mean, the fact that you can get rid of it instantly was a million times better than the original stuff.
See, I didn't even know you could do that. I'm going to go back and try that now.
See, I didn't know about it till I got halfway through the game, and I accidentally hit the minus button because I was going to take a picture of me and my 3 Kawasaki team. But I accidentally hit the minus button and got rid of my power or something. I was like, oh, well, all right then. That's
I
how
had a
you can do
team
that.
of 3 DVDs at one point.
That's how I do all my boss rushes.
And all I ever
really?
get are DVDs on the roulette thing. It's just, I don't know how.
DDD. You gotta have the
I'm
triple
going
D
for Meta Knight,
combination.
but I haven't gone once.
I got the triple D combination, you wreck.
The triple waddle or bandana D is probably the strongest of the 3 combinations. But
I feel like they're like, yeah, waddle bandana D. Nobody's ever gonna use bandana D. Let's just make him a secret to where he's actually really good.
he just attacks so fast and has really high attack or stat.
Yeah, for
Yeah,
sure.
I should use him more. Quick question.
And he has projectiles, unlike the other 2.
Mm-hmm.
That you mentioned like changing the controls, like the button mapping. How did you do that? I couldn't figure it out.
So you can't do it while playing the game. You have to do it from the main menu.
Oh,
There's an option.
That makes sense. Okay.
And there's
Good to
2
know.
control options. You can't like map the buttons per se, but you can choose between different modes. And the other one works fine for me.
Yeah.
Just the default one feels weird.
Yeah, it did feel weird first playing it. I did get used to it, but at the same time, like, I think going back to having the B button as the jump button would have been a lot better.
I still use A as the jump button. I'm just so built in that Super Mario Brothers style. That's just what I do. I mean, Mario Brothers, not Mario World. Just differentiate the two because they both play differently. But anyway, go ahead.
So how did the game sound to you guys? Like, was the soundtrack on par with what you want from Kirby, or is it kind of lacking?
As far as the music and sound goes, I thought the compositions were really cool. And it was nice to hear the return of some classic tunes. They did a lot of remixing in this one when I was listening to it. They would take a lot of the classic themes and then just like in the compositional work, they just kind of like moved things around, gave it a different feel, which I thought was pretty cool. I thought the music lacked a little bit of the punch from other Kirby games, though. It just felt softer to me all around, which is fine. That's just a how you say it, like a design choice, like it's a personal choice kind of thing. Also the million remakes of King Dedede's theme were pretty great. There were like 3 or 4 in there, so
yeah, there were a lot.
But I love the King Dedede theme, so heck, use it. It's great stuff. I'm gonna have to listen to the soundtrack more, just in my personal time to pick out my favorite tunes. But there were some that I thought were really cool.
I thought the music was fine. Like, it sounded good. Maybe I didn't catch all the references as maybe other people would, but it worked, and I enjoyed the soundtrack. Nothing like hurt my ears or anything like that. But nothing particularly stood out. Like, I was like, oh, I want to listen to this like on repeat all the time. Like, no, nothing like that. Yeah. But it was good, calming for the most part. There were some epic tunes, but it felt that, it fit the game well.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was a bit disappointed just because there was nothing that stood out and it was a bit quiet. Kirby, like Superstar Ultra, N64, and Kirby's Adventure all had some phenomenal music. Some of my favorite in the Smash Bros. Soundtrack library, which is crazy to say because of how intense
Sakurai gave his Kirby music the treatment in those Smash games, man. So like, good.
Butter building? Oh, yeah.
It's delicious. The masked Dedede theme from Kirby Superstar Ultra, the remake boss battle with Dedede, is amazing. I love that song. I listened to that song on repeat for forever in high school. Absolutely love that theme. There's so much gold. The Marks theme, the O2 theme, great.
Oh, yeah.
Awesome.
O2. O2
Fantastic.
Is nuts.
Like, if you want to listen to a song that has great dissonance with melody, those songs are perfect. Those are so good.
Typing that up for later.
just write that in to listen to later. But oh my gosh, fantastic! And this game just kind of remade a lot of those themes. Didn't really have a lot of its own. They even in a Kirby Planet Robobot, they had the Haltman theme. The whole game was based around the dun 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 melody.
Yeah,
remixed it all the time. One of the main characters would sing the melody. just kind of like this workforce order march song,
Mm-hmm.
which was really cool. And this game kind of didn't have that. It's really sad.
Like I said, everything in this game is just kind of coming out to be the bare bones amount of work to push out a Kirby game and call it a Kirby game.
So what does it take
Makes
to have
sense.
a Kirby game? This is it.
Yeah.
This is the most bare bones version of it.
Coming to the end of our review, how would you guys rate the game? What did you think in the end?
So on a scale of Kirby games, I was feeling more like a 7 to 8. It's not great. It's not terrible, but it's just kind of like middle of the road. I still enjoyed myself. I'm probably going to keep playing it from time to time just because that's how I am with Kirby games. Like James says, they're very relaxing. It's just comfort gaming, really. So I would probably give it around a 7 to an 8. So I guess 7.5.
Yeah, I actually give it a 7.5 as well. It's a good time. I had a lot of fun playing it. And it's coming from a guy who hasn't played a whole lot of Kirby games. It's enjoyable, relaxing. It's not going to blow your mind in any sense until maybe the end, but that's just because it's a Kirby game. They're supposed to be epic at the end, right?
Yep.
Yeah, it is rather bare bones.
Yeah, and I think 6 out of 10 kind of does it for me. It's a bit lower than your guys's, but I still view 6 to be a good score. Well, above average, I should say, is what I view a 6 out of 10. It's fun. The game is good fun. I enjoyed myself. There wasn't any point where I was just like not enjoying myself, but it's hard to compare it to all the other Kirby games that have come out before it.
Yeah.
It was way too minimalistic. It feels like it was, I don't know. It didn't have the charm or spirit or heart that past Kirby games have had.
I wholly agree with that.
I don't know if I call it a step back per se. Maybe, but maybe just like it's just stagnant. Like it didn't move forward.
You're just stationary.
Stationary, yeah. That's how I view it.
Yeah.
So would you guys recommend the game to our listeners?
I would.
I mean, I'd only really recommend it like wholeheartedly if you play it with friends or if you are a diehard Kirby fan.
Good point.
The game can get kind of stale playing by yourself, especially if you're crazy like me and you play through the game 6 times with other characters and you're kind of doing it by yourself the whole time. And the AI just isn't quite up to par and you will get frustrated with it occasionally. Not super often, but from 1 to 2 things.
I still enjoyed it when I played it by myself. Granted, that was like halfway through the game, so maybe it's not the full experience. But I know I think a single player can still enjoy it, but it is a lot more fun with friends.
I would recommend it if you were to wait for a price drop. I think $20 is probably a much better price than $60.
$20?
Yeah.
Wow.
I would definitely bear like absolute most I would pay is probably $40 because you could just get Robobot for that price, and Robobot I think is better.
If you're looking for a single player experience, I'd play Robobot over this one. If you haven't played Robobot.
Agreed. Yeah.
And I wish that the Switch had a virtual console service, because then I would rather just tell if this is your first Kirby game, I would rather have you just go play Superstar Ultra.
Superstar Ultra is phenomenal.
If you've never played Superstar Ultra, go and do it. It has phenomenal level design. It's actually really good. I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, Kirby, it's not that interesting of a game series, but Superstar Ultra is pretty sweet.
Can you read my mind?
Yeah.
No, I'm just kidding.
Mind read.
No. I really should go back and play that. I haven't had the chance to.
Yeah, me and my brother both bought our own copy so we could play the whole game together.
Nice.
Just to play Superstar Ultra
on the DS, DS remake.
Yeah, the DS remake, which is probably is the most optimal way to play it.
Yeah, I agree. I think the DS remake is actually better than the original, but I'm sure there are some diehard fans out there who would disagree.
But you don't get the Masked Deity's return in the original. You got to play that. It's great.
All right, so that'll do it for Kirby. Kind of a mediocre game, but still fun. It's an enjoyable experience in the end. So we'll also talk about the Nintendo Direct that landed this morning. It focused entirely on indie games. It was about 10 minutes. You could probably just go quickly watch it on YouTube. There wasn't a whole lot revealed, but there were some games. The games that were revealed in the Direct were Just Shapes and Beats, Bad North, The Banner Saga 3, as well as 1 and 2, Bomb Chicken, Fantasy Strike, Garage, Lightfall, Luminous Remastered, Mark of the Ninja Remastered, Pode, I think that's how it's pronounced.
It's something like Pood or something. I don't know. He said it some interesting way, but
Poody.
I don't remember that one being shown, to be honest. Pool Panic, Reigns, The Messenger, and West of Loathing. So what did you guys find interesting?
I guess in general, Mark of the Ninja was pretty cool. But honestly, when I played it the first time on Xbox, I wasn't a huge fan of it, but I know it's got a huge cult following, so that's pretty cool to get on the Switch. It's unfortunate they didn't show anything really of the gameplay, though.
Tisk. Everyone should be a huge fan of Mark of the Ninja. It's the best stealth game ever made.
You can't tell me what to do. It's my life. I'm just kidding. If I want to play ninja games, I'll probably check out the Mister. I'm just kidding. Anyway, no, seriously though, if you like stealth games, it's probably up your alley. I'm just not I haven't played a lot of stealth games in my life.
I love it mostly because it rewards you for going of two different like play styles. You can be hyper aggressive and just like slaughter enemies all the way through, and the game doesn't punish you for that. Or you can be hyper stealthy and not kill anyone ever, and the game rewards you for that. It's really, I don't know. The controls are kind of like the main reason why I love it. The controls are so freaking solid. You can just like zip through those levels like butter. It's so fun. Once you know what you're doing, that is.
Yeah, the controls take. When I played it, they took a little bit of learning, but
you only got a few levels in.
Yeah.
I wonder if one of the reasons why it didn't work for you was because you didn't quite have all the main upgrades yet.
That could be.
Because when you get the ability to start like teleporting, that's when things get really interesting. And that's like third level, I think.
Okay.
I highly recommend Mark of the Ninja Remastered to anyone that hasn't played it. I am kind of disappointed, though, that they didn't show any information on it. Not even a trailer. We didn't get any gameplay. It's an old game. How hard is it to get gameplay footage?
It's pretty difficult, man. I don't even know how exactly what remastered means for this game.
Yeah, what's being remastered? You can't really just upscale the graphics. It's just cell shaded and already in HD.
It's
so
remastered in the sense that you can now take it portably.
Wow.
Okay. So it's they're just throwing on the title remastered to try and like sell it to suckers like me.
Well, I feel like that's what's happening to most of these games.
We have a winner.
It's remastered. Does that mean just put it on the Switch? Yeah, pretty much.
Shh, don't tell anyone.
Don't tell anyone we didn't actually optimize this too much. I'm just kidding. Anyway.
Man, I really want like at least another level or something. I don't know.
You might get it. I don't know.
Maybe. I think this is going to be a bare minimum remastering. It's going to be mostly for people who didn't play it already, but just I love the game, but you can just go on Steam and get it for like $5.
Yeah. See, another thing you were saying too is like, why isn't this just a second game? Why isn't this just like a Mark of the Ninja 2? Why remaster the first one when it, like you said, it's so available as is?
Yeah, I would go absolutely nuts for a sequel to Mark of the Ninja. I'm surprised they haven't done one yet, just because of how big of a cult following it has.
Exactly, yeah. It's the confusing part.
Speaking of ninjas, we got a new ninja game called The Messenger, kind of reminiscent of old Ninja Gaiden games, which, oh man, that makes me really excited. I grew up on Ninja Gaiden. That was one of my first video games ever. Probably says a lot about me.
She's like, yeah, welcome to the world, kid. Here's Ninja Gaiden. Have fun. Go kill it. I'm just kidding.
Everything is just so easy when you compare it to Ninja Gaiden.
Stupid
so I grew
birds.
up on Ninja Gaiden. I started playing it when I was like 4 years old. So I am stoked for it to come out. Well, it's not Ninja Gaiden, but this looks like a reimagining of Ninja Gaiden almost, with a lot of new mechanics and a lot easier. But that's probably for the better.
Thank you.
Flying enemies don't insta-kill you?
That sounds like my kind of game. No, I'm looking forward to it as well. I really like the concept behind it, but particularly the, switching from the 8-bit to the 16-bit. It looks like it transitions pretty well, and I'm excited to see what kind of ideas they come up with for that. And I feel like out of all the things they showed in this showcase, this is the most stated game. Like, I understood what was going on and what this game had to offer more than any of the others.
Yeah.
And which is kind of disappointing for the other games, but it makes me excited for the Messenger a lot more.
Yeah, it looked great. I wasn't expecting it, but it looked really interesting. The platforming looked pretty intense. And like George was saying earlier, really reminiscent of the early Ninja Gaiden games. I'm a sucker for anything that's NES like or SNES like, because that's what I grew up on as well, which is probably why I bought Splunker, and I still haven't beat it yet because I kept dying in this ditch, and I can't make this jump. But
it's not even just the gameplay that feels really Ninja Gaiden, but the art style and the music. Even the music sounds very reminiscent of the original Ninja Gaiden trilogy.
Cool. Very cool, yeah. Very cool.
I hope this is good. I hope it's good.
It's kind of a random love letter to one of the lesser nostalgic series of that era.
Yep. The game even a ninja couldn't beat. I'm just kidding.
What was that one guy in Japan who locks himself in a room until he beats the game?
Oh, crap. What's his name? It starts with an A, doesn't it?
I don't remember.
I've never heard of this before.
There was a guy in Japan. It was like in the mid 2000s where he had a TV show on Japanese television.
Arino.
Yeah, I think so. Where
Chosenjo, something.
But he would lock himself in a room. He had almost no experience playing video games up to that point. And they would lock him in a room with an NES and a game and tell him that he couldn't leave the room until he beat the game.
Oh my god!
Pretty brutal. Yeah, it was called Reno's Challenge.
Yeah, and so they gave him a bunch of different NES games, and it took him a while to beat some of them. And after, I think it was like a full season. It was far into it, so at this point he had some experience playing video games. And then they gave him Ninja Gaiden, and I think he was stuck in there for 24 hours, and they had to send help to him.
Oh my gosh!
Wow.
He couldn't get past the last level, and so they had to bring in 3 other guys and have each one assigned to different segments of the last level.
No way.
You were assigned to this segment and this segment, and they had him do each segment. So he still did technically beat Ninja Gaiden in the end without save states, kind of automated save states, I guess I should say.
Yeah.
But
the fact that they brought in people not to give water, not to give food or anything like that. No. They brought
I'm
people
sure he
in.
had water and food. I don't think they were that cruel.
But they brought people in to help him finish segments of the game. Like that's commitment right there, people. Now we ain't calling a hospital. We're doing this. Like, we're finishing this game. Anyway.
Yeah, the episode's on YouTube. It's pretty funny to watch.
Also, if you are a fan of the Arino's Challenge, there was a game back then that they published called Retro Game Challenge, which was based off his TV show for the DS.
Oh, that's cool.
I played it. It's really good. If you like old school NES games, it's fantastic. It's really cool.
Yeah.
Lots of those kind of art design old school games and all this stuff thrown into one package. It was a lot of fun when I played it back on the DS.
So that's the Messenger. The one game that I saw that really interested me was Bomb Chicken. I don't know why. Don't judge me, okay? Something about chickens and bombs coming out of their buttholes. That is just fascinating to me. No, I like puzzle games, and I mean, I don't play a whole I'm not always playing puzzle games, but when there's like a puzzle platformer that looks interesting, yeah, I want to try it out. And this one for sure looks like it could be interesting. I hope it's not garbage like any of these games, but that'll be one I'm looking forward to.
Bomb Chicken 2018 Game of the Year.
Here we go. Calling it now.
Bad North also looked really cool. It's kind of minimalistic, so it'll kind of depend on its price point and how much content is on there. But from the description, it's a roguelite RTS game, which just makes me salivating. Like, both of those together just sounds fantastic.
Roguelike, sign me up.
Yeah, roguelike RTS. Like, whoa. Oh, man. RTSs have a bad reputation on consoles, though, so we'll see how it goes. So I'm definitely interested, but I need more information, especially price points.
Yes.
More information. I feel like that's a theme.
Yeah. Like one of the other games they kind of glossed over.
Yeah, their big final reveal was the Banner Saga, which I've heard a lot of people are really interested in because it's really good, apparently. But I've never even heard of it up until now, and I don't think either of you guys have. And I don't feel like the Direct did a very good justice of telling us what it is.
Why should I care?
Yeah, exactly. Like, I understand it's like critically acclaimed, I guess, according to them, but I have never heard of it. You know, it's like to someone who had first seen this game, tell me why I should be excited, not that, oh, it has all these acclaims and in that you probably are excited. It's like, no, I'm not excited.
And we're not ragging on Banner Saga.
Not at all.
I'm interested. I'm going to go and like research it and figure out more about it. And I'm sure it'll be a cool game. It's just, we're kind of ragging on the Nintendo Direct in general for the indies that there was no info like on any of these games. They would gloss over things as fast as possible with almost no information. It was just they just like read one or two sentences about the main description of the game and then just move on.
How else do you get through like 15 games in 10 minutes? You just blow right through them.
Yeah, I don't know. It just seems like that. What a normal showcase has gone like 20 minutes in the past, maybe. I'm not entirely sure, but the amount of games that were announced weren't like double, right? Or were there? I don't know. I feel like they gave more explanations to previous Nindy games announced in the showcase. I could be wrong, but I feel like coming out of this one, I feel like I know less about these games than I did coming off of previous showcases, if that makes sense.
Well, to me, it's interesting. It's like, okay, to me, it's why did these games warrant a Direct when there are other games coming out as well on the eShop?
Oh, yeah.
What makes these games so special that they deserve this spotlight? Versus everything, I guess money, but versus everything else. I want to know more information. You can't just drop these in my lab, say, yeah, here's an indie showcase. You should care about these games. I need more information.
Well, the thing that confused me the most about this Direct is where the crap was Shovel Knight.
Shovel Knight!
King of Cards is supposed to come out early 2018.
We
are in March.
Almost April.
Early is leaving soon. We're almost mid.
An update would be nice, at least.
Yeah, a release date. Just the acknowledgement that it's coming out eventually. I mean, maybe they're waiting till the summer Indies Direct so they can reveal Shovel Knight as a character for Smash Bros. But that as crazy as that would be, where the Direct needed something, and if not Shovel Knight, then where was Hollow Knight or Travis Strikes Again, Dead Cells, Stardew Valley multiplayer, Super Meat Boy Forever, all the big heavy hitters, sans Dead Cells. We don't know if Dead Cells is coming out to Switch, but all the big heavy hitters that we know that are coming to Switch that are from indie developers, none of them showed up.
But they talked about Travis Strikes Again last week, didn't they?
Yeah. Well, what's interesting is if you go to the Nintendo website where they talk about the Direct, and they list all the games that they talked about in the Direct, Travis Strikes Again is in that list.
Is it?
Yeah.
Weird.
I think that they were supposed to show something and they maybe took it out and put it in the other Direct, or I don't know.
That is interesting.
It would have been interesting to see the Undertale release in this one too.
Yeah.
It would have spiced up this Direct a little bit.
You know, and it makes me wonder, like, so going forward, I mean, do you just like pull the big titles that are indies and you put them in your Direct, or do you put them into the Nindies Showcase like everybody else? Like, you know, I mean, I don't want to like say, oh, because Nindies are lesser, they get a different showcase. That's not the point. It's more of like, because this is a community of people, and I don't know. I just feel like maybe they should have had that in this direct, but Undertale is really big, so who am I to say?
I don't know why we needed this to be its own showcase. Why not just put it in the segment of last week's direct?
Yeah, just tag it on at the end.
It was only 10 minutes. They could have cut out 10 minutes of Mario Tennis.
Cutting 10 minutes of 6 minutes. Got it.
Is there weapon?
Oh, was it 6 minutes? It felt like 15.
Why was there weapon durability in my Mario Tennis game? Anyway, keep going.
All right. Anyway, so yeah, the direct was really short, and it just didn't convey information about these games, and it didn't really have any real big heavy hitters. I don't know. Maybe there were big heavy hitters, and it just didn't tell us why they were heavy hitters.
Right. And so, I know not every game is going to be a heavy hitter, but you know, we just need more information is what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
One last thing is that they failed to mention like games that or they actually backtrack. They announced games after the direct, after the showcase, like Hyper Light Drifter and Nidhogg 2, and there was like a one more that I can't think of, but why weren't those in the direct? I mean, at least the Drifter one is coming out in summer, so surely you have some footage for that one. I don't know, just
well. On top of this, there's rumors. There were rumors going around that we were getting Hollow Knight news this week, and I guess that wasn't in the direct because we're still being told that there's going to be Hollow Knight news for the Switch this week, despite not being in the direct.
The news is it's coming out Thursday.
That was actually because it's close. It was supposed to come out last fall.
Right.
And they said they're not going to work on or push forward with the DLC until the Switch version comes out. So please come out. Hollow Knight. They already have it running at 60 frames per second. I don't know what else is left.
That sounds good to me. 60 FPS, baby.
That's our thoughts. There's a few games that are definitely interesting. I'm going to have to look up on Banner Saga. I really feel bad if it ends up being a really good game and we kind of just it's the side.
Yeah,
there,
don't mean to. It's like the example. Don't mean to. It's probably it probably will be a good game, but
our rant had nothing to do with the game itself, just the direct and the way it conveyed information.
Exactly. It's just a rant on how they brushed it under the rug, essentially. Yeah.
So we brushed it under our rug.
Because we
didn't do it well enough. Let's hear. This is how you do it.
We got Nintendo loyalists. We brush anything that they deem brushable. Anyway.
All right. So anyway, that'll do it for this week. I guess, well, let's also go into what we've played this week. Our business. Yeah,
I got the new Pokemon DLC. A lot of fun.
Nice.
Is that the one with Blastoise?
Yeah, Blastoise comes out on Thursday. So I was like, shoot, I kind of want this. Because Blastoise is my favorite starter, my first starter from the first game. Squirtle, essentially.
This guy, don't hate me.
Uh-oh.
But I think Blastoise's model in Pokemon looks kind of weird. Don't hate me.
Well, I haven't seen it quite yet, so
okay.
We'll find out. If it does look weird, I'll you know what? It's fair enough. But it's Blastoise, and I love Blastoise, so I don't.
I know. I like Blastoise too, but it just looks off.
He can be drawn by a 10-year-old for all I care, and I'd probably still buy it.
Do it, Nintendo. Put a 10-year-old Blastoise into Pokemon.
Get one of your 10-year-old children to draw us a picture of Blastoise and stick that in your game. Then we'll have the equivalent of a Sanic meme, but for Pokemon. And I've been playing as Aegislash. Aegislash is awesome. You switch between attack and defensive modes, just like you do in the game. It's great. He plays so different than a lot of the characters in the game, and great inclusion. My personal favorite character from Gen 6, besides Greninja. But
yeah, Greninja is definitely my favorite.
But yeah, Aegislash and Greninja were always on my team for Gen 6 , so it was great to see him.
Aegislash is awesome.
But yeah,
I don't think I can remember anyone from Gen 6 other than Greninja and Aegislash, to be honest.
There
was the keys.
Yeah, the clef key, which no one my boo-boo keys. But yeah, great character. And the DLC is like $15 too for both of these characters and all the extra stuff they come with, which is cool. The Rayquaza and Mimikyu supports are also really cool. Rayquaza Rex and Mimikyu is also super good too. So it's probably my favorite support set now. And then I've also played the Radiant Historia demo. I've gotten pretty far into that on the 3DS. I'm enjoying it. I kind of don't like hopping between timelines so much though in the game, even though that's kind of what it's all about. I kind of just want to stick with the story for a little bit. So
did they change it from the original game?
I don't know. I didn't play the original game. I always wanted to get around to it, but I never got to play it. So that's why I kind of wanted to play the demo to kind of see how it was. And but basically the concept is you have two timelines where I'm at right now, and what you do in one timeline affects the other timeline in certain ways, and vice versa. Like if one person dies in one timeline, they're also dead in the other timeline, essentially. So you have to stop that person from dying in one timeline to make them live in the other timeline that you need them. So it's pretty cool. It's a pretty cool concept. If a lot of people try to do time travel and stuff in games, this is probably one of the few games that actually does it well. So if you're a big JRPG fan, the characters are great too. Really well written. The voice acting's good. Pretty solid. I've only heard the English voice acting too, but it's pretty good.
That's good to hear. I actually have the game, but I haven't gotten to play it yet because I was playing Bayonetta, and now I just had Kirby, and I've been going through Disgaea 5 and yada yada yada. But it's kind of like I need to go back to my 3DS. I want to play it, but at the same time, I've heard this game is just like most JRPGs, really long. Like you get 60 hours in, you're like, wow, that was halfway. Anyway, right. I really, really want to play it, and I have it, so I will eventually.
Yes, it's pretty good.
Cool.
And then just Kirby.
That's it for me. I nothing new besides Kirby.
Yeah, same. Kirby kind of took my weekend.
Kirby just devoured it all.
Yeah.
Fitting.
Food, devour it all.
All right, so that'll do it for this week. Before we end this episode, I'd like to thank you for joining us in this episode. Your support means a ton.
I'd like to give out a shout out to Skylar, our co-host, for composing our intro music and our outro music. He's a talented dude. He's actually been making some new jingles for us for our YouTube video, and also he made a new Sonic inspired song. You should definitely go check that out. Honestly, when I first heard it, I thought it was ripped right out of a Sonic Colors game. It's just
good,
awesome stuff. So you should check out his SoundCloud, soundcloud.com/Skytar with a 5.
And I'd like to shout out to our Patrons, Chris, Chase, and Ratmvp. Your support means a ton. If you want to join them, if you want to join them and get these episodes early, go to patreon.com/NintenCity. We're also planning on reworking our other donor rewards, so stay tuned for that.
And I'd like to invite you to join our Discord community. We're trying to set up a fun place for people to visit and hang out. Head to nintendo.city/discord to join us today. Don't forget to check out our YouTube page. We have some great content on there. We have some good stuff to look forward to, we'll probably have some Smash videos coming out here pretty soon. So stay tuned for those. Just give us a little subscribe. Ooh. That was my Meta Knight voice, by the way, from the 4Kids thing. So.
Okay.
Fight me.
Kirby, fight me.
It's pretty spot on, actually.
So thanks for tuning into the Virtual Boys podcast this week. Don't forget to subscribe and rate us on iTunes. We'd also remind you to check out our website at nintendcity.com, where you can find news, show notes, and more. This week's show notes are at nintend.city/EP92. Thanks for joining us, and we'll catch you next time.
Hi!
Goodbye, you good people.